Hey everybody, welcome back to BobkeTV. Time once again for the Broom Wagon. The weekly special that we cannot seem to live without. This week, not a lot of racing going on. One little bit of ugly, unfortunately. The racing season winding down, so no good, bad, and ugly, but one little bit of ugly. That gives us plenty of time for the Musette Musings tweet of the week, and I'm going to have a look, rather than the good, bad, and the ugly, at team kit for 2017 as they come available for the 18 World Tour teams. So all of that and more next on the Broom Wagon. Let's go to the ugly now. Vuelta a Guatemala. I've said this a number of times. Pet dogs, cats, and bike races don't mix. Nice postal hat there. And just, 4 or 5 guys get through, and the rest of the Peloton comes to a standstill after a big pile up. Oh. Fido just scampers off. For the pet lovers out there, the dog unhurt, but that is the ugly. That's as ugly as it gets in a bike race. Just the crashing and snapping of carbon. Super gnarly. All the racers were able to remount and finish. The overall winner was appropriately, ironically maybe, Roman Villalobos, the House of the Wolf. So Villalobos goes out the winner of the Vuelta a Guatemala. Okay, let's get right into Team Kit 2017. Let's start with Team Sky. Some big news. Rafa will not be their clothing partner any longer. Castelli, the legendary Italian clothing maker, will do the team kit, what the riders wear throughout the season, rather than Rafa. And a little bit different design. Still the traditional Sky black and blue, which they have left the Peloton and the sport black and blue in a number of high-profile races throughout the year and throughout their history. And probably the most distinctive difference is the lines. A variety of lines, different colors also, across the front and back of the jersey. Apparently, there's 4 long lines that represent the Grand Tour victories for Team Sky. That would be Bradley Wiggins' Tour de France victory, and Chris Froome has 3 of those. The shorter lines for multi-day stage races, they got piles of those. Off the top of my head, Paris-Nice, Geraint Thomas this year. I'm sure that's included. Dauphiné, both Wiggins and Froome, I believe, won the Dauphiné. Tour of Romandie for both Wiggins and Froome, if I'm not mistaken. And the shortest lines are for the one-day races. So, to give my honest opinion, I like their previous designs better. Don't write in if you love the new Team Sky kit. Share with your friends. But anyways, instead of Rafa, it will have the red scorpion from Castelli to let everybody know that they have a new clothing sponsor. And I'm sure they will have fantastic clothing, technically, for the foreseeable future. Next up, and Castelli also sponsors the Cannondale squad. So next week on the Broom Wagon, I'll take us through the new Cannondale livery. All right, everybody. Up next, the Musette Musings. By the way, when daylight savings time is over, it gets dark very quickly, and so the sun has gone down on the Broom Wagon. But it's shining brightly somewhere on the cycling world. First up, a man who we thought we had heard the last of, Oleg Tinkoff, back in the headlines with some very disparaging things to say about Bjarne Riis, who's starting a new cycling team that is being backed by his former sponsor, Saxo Bank. If we recall, it was the sponsor of the team that Oleg Tinkoff bought from Bjarne Riis, hired Bjarne Riis to manage it. They had a falling out. Oleg Tinkoff took the team over and promptly decided to drop out of the sport. So Bjarne Riis expressing his disappointment that Oleg Tinkoff decided to do that, and Oleg Tinkoff hitting back at Bjarne Riis and saying, it's a tough one, basically that Bjarne should not be managing a team, and he should in fact be banned for life. I'm going to quote Oleg Tinkoff directly. I should say that people like Riis, Brunel, and Wouters must be banned out of cycling for life. They not only highly promoted doping, but also materially benefited from it. I see this as a crime, actually. Pity that such people are getting back into my sport. I thought it was our sport. Bjarne Riis perhaps did not need to stir up the hornet's nest with Oleg Tinkoff. Generally, when you criticize Tinkoff, you can expect a reaction from him. But Tinkoff brings up an interesting point in cycling, and that is the legacy of doping. I have generally been against lifetime bans, and if Oleg Tinkoff was to include other names in the management side of professional cycling that have been embroiled in doping controversy, it would be pretty extensive. It would be pretty hard to field a world tour, pro-continental or continental level team without any of those people that have been involved. It would be virtually impossible at this point. And if we look at the teams who have had a rider or multiple riders positive during their sponsorship run, I mean, it's just about everybody. So because of that, and also because I believe in reconciliation, I have tended to disagree with any calls for a lifetime ban. An appropriate suspension, whatever that might be, and the sport can open up a discussion on what's appropriate for riders and team managers, perhaps, that have been embroiled in doping controversies. And lifetime bans, I've generally been not in favor of. Reconciliation also is, I think, an obligation that we have once anybody has confessed and made a genuine apology and has tried to make amends sincerely. I believe it's our job at that point to reconcile with the person for their transgressions. And so I have generally not been in favor of lifetime bans until this news item from the Netherlands. An ex-professional, Theo Muis, I believe is how you pronounce his last name, just been handed a lifetime ban for providing nandrolone to his son, Jesse Muis, who is a very proficient Dutch young cyclist, was popped for nandrolone and thought he had been given vitamin supplements by his father, and in fact his father had provided him with nandrolone, which is a powerful steroid. And I want to go over some of the side effects, the possible side effects of nandrolone, before I get into Theo Muis's lifetime ban and what this father did to his son. This is the risk that he put his son at. Bladder contractions causing frequent passing of urine, breast tenderness, continued painful erection, enlarged breasts, masculinization, a breaking out of skin, resembling, this is from WebMD, by the way, anemia from inadequate iron, enlarged prostate, high amount of calcium in the blood, increased risk of bleeding, which is very dangerous considering in cycling, when you crash, you generally get lots of cuts and scrapes. So it's very tough to understand why a parent would do this. Irritation to stomach and intestines, leukemia, liver cancer, thickening of the skin, visible water retention, chills, chronic trouble sleeping, diarrhea, leg cramps, swelling of the abdomen, high amounts of fat in the blood, liver tissue death, and microscopic blood-filled cavities in the liver. So obviously the dangers are pretty extensive, and as parents, our job is to care for our children and not increase the dangers that they are exposed to. And this is something I've never heard of. I never imagined that the systematic culture of doping could be so ingrained in a person's thinking that they would go to these lengths so that their child could do good in a bicycle race. It really is staggering, and I'd like people to comment whether or not this is an appropriate penalty. If it's too lenient, maybe jail time, maybe reckless endangerment might be added to the list of egregious. It's really upsetting. I don't think, when you're an adult and you're a professional athlete and you choose to use pharmaceutical products, whether you believe it's cheating or not, is a whole different kettle of fish. When you are doping your children so they can be better athletes, it staggers my imagination. And so I'm wondering if jail time isn't more appropriate for Theo Muis. Jesse Muis was given a 2-year ban because he thought he was being given vitamin supplements by his father. He didn't know it was nandrolone. He could have been handed a 4-year ban, but he'll do 2 years. My hope is that he can come back into the sport and race with his dedication and talent and not resort to cheating with drugs. And I have, like I said, been against lifetime bans pretty consistently, and I'm gonna have to continue to believe in that reconciliation is an obligation we have to people that are contrite, that are doing their best to make amends, and that are have admitted and are genuinely sorry for what they've done. Time will tell whether or not Jesse Muis races again, or Theo Muis' suspension is upheld and is never heard from again. But I think that's a little. I'm reluctant to impose that upon people, because there's always hope for a change in a person's heart. And so as long as the person is willing to go through that, then I think that we should entertain whatever attempts they make to reconcile themselves to the transgressions that they've committed. If we were to apply the logic that Oleg Tinkoff is using against Bjarne Riis, I think the sport would be irreparably damaged. And so it's such a complicated issue. And cheating with drugs has been, especially in professional sports, it's just it's probably a discussion for somebody much more qualified and eloquent than I am to be able to explain it. Hopefully that person will manifest themselves sometime soon. I don't think it's Brian Cookson. I'm sure it's not Oleg Tinkoff or Bjarne Riis, but maybe somebody is out there that can shine even more light on this. But in the meantime, I think that a penalty is appropriate, but lifetime is a little bit too heavy. And reconciliation is a part of our birthright as human people, members of this planet. And best of luck to everybody involved. Oleg Tinkoff, I think if we look back at all the musings, I think Oleg Tinkoff would be a part of most of them. So anyways, next up is the tweet of the week. All right, everybody, for tweet of the week, let's go to Jakob Fuglsang. Fuglsang, the Astana pro from Denmark. Second to Greg van Avermaet in the Olympics after a spectacular performance. Olympic gold, Olympic silver, pretty brilliant Olympics basically. Now that's what I call a serious autograph request. Pen, pictures, and money for postage. So €5. Wow, postage is expensive in the Netherlands. Anyway, that's it for the Broom Wagon. Best of luck to all of Jakob Fuglsang's fans. I guess if you can find his address somehow, and you have €5, he will sign an autograph for you. Bike fans are the best fans on earth. I will say that. That is a fact. The most devoted, patient, dedicated, and when your rider wins, the most rewarded. So if you're a Jakob Fuglsang, those wins are cherished. If you're a Peter Sagan fan, like most people are, they come around a little bit more frequently, but still, it brings up a good point. The typical bike racer, if you're very successful, you might win 10 races in a season. Any other sporting endeavor, if you had 90 starts and 10 wins, it would be absolutely pitiful, a disgrace. But in cycling, it's wildly successful. That's how tenacious and dedicated cycling fans are. They are willing to wait for those very rare victories because they are so hard fought and well earned. All right, everybody, there's going to be an icon on the screen at some point. If you click on that, an icon of my face, sadly, I'm sorry. I'm trying to recruit a body double for that. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know. But if you click on the icon, you go straight into being able to subscribe to my channel. And there's going to be a t-shirt icon also. And if you click on that, it'll take you straight to the website where you can order some t-shirts, BobkeTV t-shirts. If you'd like to see some designs, let me know. I'll try to make those happen. And until next time, subscriptions, comments, thumbs up, follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Until then, so long, and have a very good ride.